There are two arcs in the Naruto series that the fandom in general treats as being mediocre or downright bad, but actually when you analyze those arcs, they turn out really good, and it's because of a couple of misconceptions that people just kind of dismiss those arcs, saying that they're boring or unengaging. One of those arcs is Naruto Part 1, the other one is Naruto Shippuden. Today, we're gonna be talking about the one in Part 1. Now, Naruto as a series starts off very strong with the Land of Waves arc that establishes the universe and the feel of the entire story, and moves on to the Chunin exams, which is an exceptional arc, one of the best arcs in the history of shonen. And then you can split this arc between the Chunin exams proper and the Konoha Crush arc, but honestly, I personally just treat those arcs as the same arc, this massive climactic event in the Naruto series. And this is many people's favorite arc in the entire story, and it's understandable because it's great. However, because the Chunin exams arc was so massive, well written, and climactic, a lot of people kinda dismiss what comes directly after it because, well, it's not as exciting or epic as the Chunin exams was, and therefore, it's kinda bad. And this happens a lot when people talk about the Search for Tsunade arc, which is the arc that precedes the Chunin exams. Now, you can also split this arc into two distinct parts, the first one being Itachi's assault on the Leaf Village with Kisame and all that. He goes after Naruto in that hotel, Sasuke eventually finds Itachi and they have that exchange, then Jiraiya arrives and Itachi and Kisame just go away. And then there's the search for Tsunade proper when Naruto and Jiraiya actually go look for the future 5th Hokage. Naruto goes through the training of the Rasengan and all that kind of stuff. The thing is, people generally really enjoy the Itachi bit of the arc, which is very different from the rest, and it's much shorter, might I add. Obviously, because Itachi is a fan favorite, and Jiraiya, another fan favorite, is heavily featured in this part of the arc, even though he appears afterwards in the arc as well. But the first appearance of Itachi is hailed by the fandom as a very cool moment, and everybody loves that part, including myself. However, the Search for Tsunade part of the Search for Tsunade arc is heavily criticized by many people. And yeah, it's a big change of pace from the Chunin exams, because if you think about it, there were dozens of new characters introduced in the Chunin exams. Every single new team from the Leaf Village, from the Sand Village, from the Sound Village, Orochimaru. We had the senseis with Guy, Asuma, and Kurenai. We had Ibiki, we had Anko, we had a lot of new characters, and this makes the world feel massive and expansive. And if you compare that to the Search for Tsunade arc, yes, sure, we get Itachi and Kisame as new characters, and then we just get Tsunade and Shizune. I mean, they're very important characters, especially Itachi and Tsunade, but when you look at the Search for Tsunade part of the arc, then only Tsunade and Shizune are new characters here, and maybe this dampened a little bit of the excitement when going to this arc. Okay, we're not gonna meet that many new characters, and the characters we're gonna meet are kinda weird for Naruto's story. I mean, Tsunade is a middle-aged woman that goes around casinos, gambling her money away in this very precarious state of depression, and Shizune, she's not that relevant, but she's kinda cool in this arc. So this is a different arc, and it's understandable why people would be taken aback at first. But okay, just because the characters are a bit different, and this arc's gonna have a different structure from the Chunin exams, it doesn't mean people are not going to enjoy it. I mean, if every single arc was the same, the story would be incredibly boring, right? So why do people not really like this arc? Well, like many things that people don't like about the Naruto series, it has to do with the anime adaptation, unfortunately. Now, I love the Naruto anime, but it has its problems, and one of the main problems of the Naruto anime is front and center in the Search for Tsunade arc. Filler. And no, not filler episodes, you know, there's not an entire arc inside the Search for Tsunade arc that tells another story that's not even in the manga. It's small scenes here and there that they include in the anime. They're just there to, you know, make the episodes longer so that you won't catch up to the manga. It's a very sneaky way to include filler in your episodes, and people are not gonna notice because they're gonna think, oh, okay, this scene is actually in the story. It makes sense for it to be here. However, when you include a lot of these scenes that tend to be slower scenes that just rethread a lot of information that was already told to the audience, the episodes can drag on and the pacing can tank. This is a big problem in this arc, but it's not the worst arc in the Naruto anime, no. The Kazekage rescue arc and also the Tenchi Bridge arc in Naruto Shippuden are much worse in that regard. They have so many unnecessary scenes added on to canon episodes that make the runtime longer and the pacing slow as hell, but it also happens in the Search for Tsunade arc. And the problem that actually aggravates this pacing issue is that the Search for Tsunade arc is a training arc, and training arcs, well, they're gonna have a slower pace. It's normal, training arcs are usually not as exciting because you're just learning with the character when they're trying to improve their abilities, learn new technique and stuff like that. So there aren't gonna be as many battles and climactic moments as one would think. The Chunin exams had a fight every single chapter almost, and when they weren't fighting, they were doing extremely exciting things like the written test of the Chunin exams, which is absolutely brilliant. And yes, there's a period of training during the Chunin exams arc between the preliminaries and the third round of the Chunin exams, but you can even argue that that part of the story was more action-packed than the Rasengan training. But this training is not bad. It's interesting to see Naruto learning this jutsu. It makes sense with the universe, and we actually learn a lot of things about chakra, about ninjutsu as well, that we're learning with Naruto, and quirks about the Naruto universe, such as the hair whirls that indicate where you should spin your chakra towards. Also, training arcs, they have to be a little bit slow burn, because if the protagonist learns the jutsu too fast, it's not gonna feel earned. And by building the training process a little bit slower than you would usually in the narrative, you create tension. Will the character actually learn the ability? Will he fail? This was a big aspect of the Search for Tsunade arc. Tsunade bet against Naruto that he wouldn't be able to learn the jutsu. And all this bottled up tension makes it so much more exciting and epic when Naruto finally learns the Rasengan and shoves it against Kabuto's stupid face. And even still, if you read this arc in the manga, it's very well paced. The training scenes, they don't feel dragged out, they don't feel boring at all. Also, when Naruto is training the Rasengan, we also get scenes from Orochimaru and Tsunade that make the narrative more exciting, and it keeps the pacing pretty fast. The best aspect of this arc has to be Tsunade's own character. She feels different from your average Naruto character, almost as though she should be in a seinen, not a shonen series. She's a woman that suffered a lot in life, she lost everything, and now she's given up. Seeing the two people she loved the most dying crippled her mentally, and now the most powerful doctor in the Naruto world is afraid of blood. This is a very interesting aspect of her character. There aren't any other characters in the series that have a phobia. This makes Tsunade feel so human and realistic in a sense. When Jiraiya and Naruto first meet her, Jiraiya says, well, you're to be the 5th Hokage, but she refuses outright, insulting the Hokage position, and Naruto, he defends the Hokage, saying, who are you to talk about the Hokage like that? You don't deserve to be the Hokage, like, shut up. And the thing is that this blonde boy reminds Tsunade of the two people that she lost, Dan and Nawaki. They also wanted to be the Hokage, and Naruto, he wants the same thing. And now this conflict of emotions wash down on her. Not only that, Orochimaru comes in with an enticing offer and he says, well, I can bring the two people you lost back. What about that? I just have to heal my arms. It's challenging Tsunade's morality. Will she do something that will definitely affect the Leaf Village for the worse, so that she can see Dan and Nawaki again one more time? This is a very human dilemma, and one that we don't usually see in this story. Now sure, there are dilemmas like, well, should Itachi kill his entire clan, or should he side with his clan so that they can go to the Leaf Village civil war and then a lot of people are gonna die? But this one feels different, it feels more personal. It's not as epic as Itachi having to slaughter his clan, but somehow it feels more human. It feels as though something that anyone reading the manga would be tempted with. And Tsunade actually decides that she will help Orochimaru in exchange for his Edo Tensei. She even poisons Jiraiya. Now, I know it's mentioned that she was planning on using Jiraiya's body as a sacrifice for the Edo Tensei, but I don't really buy that. Why would Tsunade kill one of her best friends and one of the people she's known for years, decades even? No, she poisoned Jiraiya so that he couldn't interfere with Tsunade's trade with Orochimaru. I mean, if she actually wanted to use Jiraiya's body as a sacrifice, she wouldn't just leave Jiraiya in that restaurant where he slept in and woke up very groggy. She would have taken Jiraiya with her so that they can actually use him for the Edo Tensei. And before Jiraiya even is poisoned, the exchange he has with Tsunade is very interesting. They are talking about Orochimaru, and then Jiraiya looks at Tsunade, and this is the first time we see Jiraiya being extremely serious and terrifying. He looks at her with that bloodshot gaze and says, "If you do anything to harm the Leaf Village, I'll kill you." And yeah, Tsunade kind of takes that seriously, so much so that she poisons Jiraiya so he couldn't interfere. And deep down, of course, Tsunade knew that she was doing the wrong thing. Like, obviously healing Orochimaru here is the worst thing she could have done because the guy had just killed her former sensei and the third Hokage. And she had known that Orochimaru was a bad apple for a long time at that point of the story, so yeah, that was something very selfish, but also very human from a character that has fallen from grace. From a character that was essentially broken by her losses. But then, of course, she thinks about it and she doesn't go through with it. She attacks Orochimaru instead of healing him. Now, the overall structure of this arc is a little bit different from your average Naruto arc as well. There aren't as many fights spread around the arc. There is a long period of training and of character development without any fights, and then the arc explodes into this massive confrontation between Orochimaru and the Leaf Village after Tsunade refuses to heal Orochimaru. And this may be another reason why people don't enjoy this arc so much, because it's, well, slower in the beginning and it only picks up in the end. But as I said, the manga doesn't have this issue. You don't even notice the training arc going by. Still, the climactic battle is very good. We first get Tsunade versus Kabuto, a character that we're like, okay, I mean, this Tsunade lady is supposed to be the next Hokage. Surely Kabuto has no chance against her, but no. First, because Tsunade is rusty. Second, because she's mentally affected by what she almost did. She almost helped Orochimaru to regain his powers just because she wanted to see Naoki and Dan again. She was selfish. She was a bad individual in that particular situation and definitely not worthy of being a Hokage. And so she can barely fight against Kabuto. They're pretty relative to each other, and Kabuto seals the deal when he cuts his own hand, spewing blood on Tsunade and triggering her hemophobia. And then Tsunade is just paralyzed. She cannot fight anymore. Jiraiya, Naruto, and Shizune arrive, but Jiraiya is nerfed by Tsunade's poison. Lucky for him, Orochimaru is also nerfed by the Reaper Death Seal. So Jiraiya and Orochimaru, they have this very weird confrontation where their powers are not really working very well. Jiraiya's Dark Swamp cannot draw on the entire body of the snakes Orochimaru summons, and Orochimaru can only use his neck to attack Jiraiya. And if you think about it, it's a big shame we never got to see a fight between Orochimaru and Jiraiya when they were at the peak of their powers. It would be difficult to accommodate this fight in the way Kishimoto wrote the Naruto story. It would be pretty messy if Jiraiya and Orochimaru fought in Shippuden. But still, this is kind of the backdrop of the entire confrontation. The more important part, at least in this section of the battle, is Naruto versus Kabuto. Naruto's fighting tooth and nails to protect this lady who denied the position of Hokage, saying that this is a worthless job and only idiots want to become the Hokage. And he's fighting against Kabuto, a guy that's way more powerful than he is, but still he's not giving up because, well, being the Hokage is his dream, and how dare you not want to be the Hokage as well and call them idiots. And this is a very climactic part of the arc because Naruto's like, I'm gonna show you that I mastered the Rasengan and I'll get your necklace. That was the bet they made. And yeah, Naruto hadn't yet mastered the Rasengan completely coming to this fight, so we're like, wait, so what's gonna happen here? How is it gonna do it? He tried to use the Rasengan on Kabuto, it didn't work a couple of times and was pretty desperate. Kabuto's punching Naruto around, and then, as he's gonna go and punch Tsunade, Naruto just steps in and takes the punch on his forehead, protecting her. This is an amazing scene. And then he does it, grabbing Kabuto's hand and just letting himself be pierced by his kunai so that Kabuto wouldn't be able to move because his other arm was incapacitated. He uses his signature jutsu, the Shadow Clone Jutsu, in a brilliant stroke of writing from Kishimoto to master the Rasengan completely. Now yes, he went a different route from Minato and Jiraiya, but he actually used one of his most important jutsus to master this new jutsu. The way everything comes together with Naruto using the Shadow Clone to power up the Rasengan, rotating while he puts on the power himself, it's just so great. You're like, oh, this makes perfect sense. It's brilliant. It's amazing. And when Naruto finally hits Kabuto with that damn Rasengan, that's one of the most emotional scenes in the entire series, when Naruto says, I'm not gonna die until I become the Hokage, and then Rasengan, shoving it on Kabuto. Kabuto flies dozens of meters crashing on that rock. And yes, Naruto technically lost the fight because Kabuto also got a hit on his chest, and then Naruto collapses while Kabuto, he collapses too, but he stays conscious. The thing is that Naruto's words and Naruto's guts taught no jutsu Tsunade, reigniting her shinobi flame, her will of fire, if you will, because he just reminds her so much of Dan Inawaki that she cannot help. This is it. She has to be the new Hokage. And then one of the most gruesome scenes in the entire series happens after this, because Orochimaru is like, okay, if the Akatsuki actually gets the Nine Tails, this is gonna be bad, so let me go and kill Naruto real quick. He tries to stab Naruto several times using his sword in his mouth, and Tsunade is just, no, I am going to defend him. And Orochimaru just keeps on stabbing and slashing at Tsunade, who kind of does the same thing that Naruto was doing for her. He was taking Kabuto's attacks for Tsunade, and now Tsunade's doing the same, but for Orochimaru instead. And Orochimaru's attacks are much nastier because, yeah, he is cutting Tsunade. There's a lot of blood in this scene, but it's great to see that because for Tsunade's perspective, this boy is the new Nawaki, the new Dan, and she can do something to protect him now. She's not going to be helpless like she was in the past, so she's gonna put her life on the line. And as she says, you know, going full circle with her character, I am gonna bet my life, and I am gonna be the 5th Hokage. And after this, we get the classic three-way deadlock, when finally Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade summon their best summons, with Katsuyu, Manda, and Gamabunta entering the battlefield in that very iconic shot of the three massive beasts staring at each other. And this fight's actually pretty great too. We see some massive attacks, Gamabunta and Jiraiya spitting their fire and oil and creating this gigantic fireball, and Tsunade literally using Gamabunta's sword to pierce Manda with. Like, it's a freaking huge sword. And this is one thing the anime did better than the manga. The final blow that Tsunade deals on Orochimaru, she actually lands a massive combo on him in the anime, and then the final punch feels more powerful than it was in the manga. So that part, well, props to the anime, but the manga was still satisfactory as well. The bottom line is that Tsunade eventually regains her former strength, and the strength she needed to become the Hokage, with her will of fire, and all of that was because of this 12-year-old blonde boy that just came along one day and said, well, what are you talking about the Hokage for? And it's something people don't really talk about. Everybody talks about Naruto's talk no jutsu on Zabuza, on Nagato, on Obito, but Naruto literally talk no jutsu Tsunade as well. It's not just the villains that he talk no jutsus, it's the heroes too. And the talk no jutsu is actually a very important part of the Naruto series, so no, it's not bad that Naruto talk no jutsus everyone. It's literally the purpose of the story. So as you can see, the Search for Tsunade arc is very good, and it has a much better pacing in the manga. So if you haven't read the manga, I definitely suggest you to. I mean, actually I suggest you to read the entire Naruto manga if that's the case, because usually the manga is much better than the anime, but still, I just wanted to do some justice for this arc, which is usually mistreated by the Naruto community. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like this video, please, if you enjoyed it, to help me out. out with the YouTube algorithm, and also watch this other video right here for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, guys.